Spider-Man No Way Home was the highest-grossing film of 2021 with a global box office collection of $1.89 billion. The film brought all three Spider-Men together and sent Marvel fans in a frenzy. The film was a part of the MCU's early foray into the multiverse, which led up to the events of the recent Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. First up, renewed fan fervor. Following the film's release, stars of the original Spider-Man film and The Amazing Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, respectively, saw a massive renewal in their characters and their own popularity. The movie saw Andrew Garfield's social media resurgence, which also came in the form of fans petitioning for a third TASM film and calling Garfield's the most chaotic Spider-Man and the undeniable MVP of No Way Home. Now for a chat on camera. No Way Home co-stars Andrew Garfield and Zendaya recently sat down for an on-screen chat for Variety magazine, and the conversation was all kinds of wholesome. They spoke about Garfield's role in the latest Spider-Man and how he felt about getting back into the Spidey suit after so long. They also spoke of Zendaya's raw and real performance in Euphoria and how it made a fan out of Andrew. Next, on the set of No Way Home, when the discussion steered to the time both of them spent together on the sets of the latest Spider-Man film, things got interesting. Zendaya shared how her boyfriend and on-screen counterpart Tom Holland had been nervous when the other Spider-Man showed up on set, making Andrew laugh. The two also shared inside jokes from the set, which included Tom being jealous of his predecessor for having a Spidey suit with zips, which allowed him to access his phone between takes, something Holland greatly struggled with, as he has to use his nose to operate his phone while in the suit. Hilarious. Let's discuss the deeper meaning behind his appearance. When Andrew had previously talked about reprising his role in the film, he had shared that both he and Tobey wanted to play a meaningful role. They didn't want to come on screen and leave again in a hi-bye kind of thing. For Andrew, the now ultra-famous scene where Garfield's Spidey saved Zendaya's MJ was what sold him on the film. He said that he was so happy that his character had been able to heal the most traumatic moment of his past by doing that for who is, in a way, his younger brother. He further shared that it felt like he got a second chance at saving Gwen, and he was glad that he got to tie up some loose ends for his on-screen persona. Now for the integral scene in question. Speaking of the important scene, let's revisit it so we know what we're talking about. While all three Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are speaking about putting things back together, the Green Goblin enters the scene in a flurry of motion and bombs. One of his bombs gets Strange just as he is casting a spell, which then goes awry, causing a part of the construction they're standing on to break and tilt. The tilt causes MJ to lose her balance and she tumbles into space. Holland's Spider-Man immediately leaps after her, but is intercepted by the Green Goblin in the way. Seeing this, Garfield's Spider-Man jumps off and catches MJ, placing her safely on the ground. The tear-stricken Spidey asks MJ if she's okay, to which she responds that she is, before directing the question back at him. He gives a small nod. The scene touched the hearts of many Spider-Man fans as it mirrors a scene from The Amazing Spider-Man where Garfield's Peter's girlfriend, Gwen, is falling in similar circumstances, and though he tries to save her, he's too late. The scene was all kinds of painful for both Peter and his fans, and seeing him save MJ was like a shot of redemption. It made way too many people ugly cry. We're talking full-on sobbing here. Time for Garfield's cosmic theory. The moment came up again during Andrew and Zendaya's chat for Variety. While discussing the scene, Andrew shared that he was glad that he was able to do that for Peter 1 and save him from the pain Peter 3 went through. I love the idea that maybe Tom's Peter would have suffered the same fate as Andrew's Peter if Andrew hadn't somehow come into that universe and learned from the mistakes of the past and made sure that my younger brother and his love didn't have the same fate, Garfield said. He called the scene cosmic, to which Zendaya shared that the scene had made her very happy when she first read it in the script. It made us very happy too, guys. Lastly, all praises for Euphoria. The duo also discussed their individual endeavors, including which Garfield revealed that he was a huge fan of Zendaya's show Euphoria. The actor gave positively gushing praise when he shared that he had recently seen season 2 of Euphoria, and at the risk of making the young starlet uncomfortable, shared that it was one of the most remarkable things he'd seen an actor do in recent memory. Speaking on the season's 5th episode, he said that it was one of the most relentless episodes of television he'd ever seen. The scene featured Rue's mother confronting her on her continued drug use after a tip-off from Jules. The confrontation also included her mother confiscating the suitcase of drugs Laurie had given Rue, which sent the latter on a quest of ruination. The scene was absolutely harrowing, and Garfield appreciated it immensely. Now that we're done talking about the love fest that was Andrew and Zendaya's on-screen conversation, let's discuss some other related news. Starting with a Spider-Man No Way Home extended cut coming to cinemas. Did we just say we're done talking about the love fest? Well, psych, it will continue as Sony has announced that an extended cut of Spider-Man Spider-Man No Way Home will be released in cinemas by Sony. The new version, called The More Fun Stuff, featured extended and added scenes and will be coming to theaters over Labor Day weekend. The news was announced by all three Spider-Men together as they joined forces once again in a new trailer that showed Garfield saying, "This is so cool, we should totally do this again." Maguire replies with a cheeky, "You got it." The news came out Friday evening in celebration of 20 years of Spider-Man films and 60 years of the iconic comics. Next, the Bridgerton designer talks Season 2 costumes. Promoted to head costume designer for Season 2, Sophie Canal sat down to talk costumes from Bridgerton, and it was just delightful. She spoke about wanting to carry on the work of the previous head costume designer while giving each character their own individuality. She also kept in mind how their story arcs would develop in the season and incorporated it into the character's color theory. Talking about the leading lady, Kate Sharma, she spoke that she put her into darker colors in the beginning of the season, when she was more cynical about the concept of love, and with time, as she eased into her emotions, her wardrobe also switched towards lighter, brighter colors. While speaking of Sharma, she also relayed her experience of traveling to India and how it helped her incorporate the girls' culture into their costumes. By creating seams that fall similarly to a sari and using fabrics from their home country, she tried to incorporate the culture into the Sharma wedding. Speaking of the leading man, we all know that river scene had us falling in love with Anthony just a little more. The scene required special costume changes and a hilarious fitting session. Sophie shared that Anthony was put in a special shirt that was made of a lighter material than what he normally wears for it to be as sheer as possible. Actor Jonathan Bailey was also called in for a special fitting where he was just put in the shirt and hosed down. Bailey was absolutely soaked in the fitting room, and a video was sent to showrunner Chris Van Dusen to get the go-ahead on how soaked the actor was going to be. Fun times. And finally, Sandra Oh and Jung Ho-yeon talked mental health post-fame. Sandra Oh and Jung Ho-yeon are the face of the Korean-American representation in Hollywood at the moment. Fresh off the wave of Killing Eve and Squid Game's massive success, the global stars sat down for an on-screen chat. Off the bat, viewers can tell that they share a sense of kinship in the role they play in Asian representation on a global scale. They spoke of projects, representation, work commitment, and the mental strain that comes from being catapulted into the public eye all at once. Oh described the stress after Grey's Anatomy's success as a sickness she felt in her whole body. She talked about how her body, soul, and mind felt sick, after which she realized she had to heal herself and take work at a pace she can handle. Ho-yeon related to the stress and shared that her sudden rise to fame was shocking and left her reeling, since she had just decided to become an actor, auditioned, and gotten the role. And then there she was sitting for an interview with her childhood idol at Variety. Crazy. She's also shared that she had recently returned to Korea for a month and had taken a complete break from work to focus on her mental health only. And we love that for her. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.